Hi, everyone. Okay, so this is just a quick update. Um, a couple things happened over the last, 24 hours. So I want to quickly update on what's been going on. So a few days ago, I contacted Tanya Keller, who um, was dealing with the estate for me of my mom. It's been 5 years now. I haven't received any of the final paperwork from the estate from Elizabeth Miazga, and I haven't received thing, anything in regards to the holdback for tax purposes um, from the estate as well. Um, I asked Tanya about it, and she went, from my understanding, she went to Tristan Smith, who was representing the estate after Liz fired um, Diane Stevenson in Portage Prairie, who my mother had hired to um, do up her will. Tanya indicated to me that Tristan hasn't heard from Liz in a year or so, and that Tristan indicated that if I wanted any more information, I was to contact Liz directly, or she could contact Liz directly. Sorry, Elizabeth directly. I said to Tanya that this is not right because my other sister Jane, she should have gotten that information as well, as along with any additional monies from the holdback. So Tristan would have had dealings with this. So this him refusing to pass along such information is a deliberate attack on me, a deliberate discrimination. It also speaks to financial abuse because they know that I'm going through a hard time right now. My wages, or sorry, my bank accounts have been garnished, and or my bank and um, so I mean, like that money would any additional monies would really help me out right now. So for them to withhold that just based on whatever rationale they have, that's a financial abuse. My mother willed that to me. So for them to deny me that is financial abuse. Um, so I got an email from Tanya yesterday saying that I could contact Tristan directly. But that's not why, like, I shouldn't have to talk to Tristan directly, nor should he talk to me directly because Tanya is my lawyer. And Tristan shouldn't be talking to me if I have a lawyer, from my understanding. So, um, this so I wrote to Tanya saying that, like this is not okay. Like, this needs to get resolved. And if if she can't get answers from Tristan or Elizabeth, then she needs to put something in with the courts to compel Liz to give me that information and whatever monies are owing. But that isn't being done. Now, that again speaks to discrimination from the Manitoba court system and Manitoba lawyers in towards me. Now, I'll get more into that in my chapters as time progresses. But again, this is just a quick update. Also, I put in a federal claim for the courts in regards to how my rights were discriminated against under the Constitution, and the motion the federal or the parties put in a motion to strike a motion to strike my motion, and it was granted. Um, what that means for for me is that the federal courts have pretty much said that my constitutional rights have meant nothing, um, which speaks volumes towards our justice system here in Canada. Um, it is very disappointing. I will be putting in an appeal. I received the voice message today, and today's April 13th, 2023. I've got to figure out how long I have to put in an appeal. It's not right what's being done. So a quick overview of um, my motion against the federal courts was, no, you know what? I will do that. I will do that more in my chapters, and but I will say that to the federal courts, if the leaders of our country have put in legislation, and the Constitution is what our country is founded on, so to deny Canadian citizens their rights speaks to the level of how democracy in our country has deteriorated to the point where perhaps it's not even existent anymore. For the federal courts to say, well, they aren't responsible for the decisions of a federal judge who was appointed by the federal government, or people under the federal government, also speaks to how our Canadian judicial system is no longer under a democracy, but and led by legislation that was put into place by the leaders of our country, but is now being now being led by dictators that were appointed by the federal government. Now, if the federal government put into place um, these federal judges, and they're saying that the federal government has no responsibility over what the federal judges decide, and these federal judges do not have to follow legislation that the leaders of our country have put into place, and they do not have to adhere to the Constitution, and they don't have to enforce or even follow the Constitution to ensure that Canadians' rights are being adhered to and followed, then how is Canada a democracy? What the government is saying essentially is that, or from my understanding, is that they're putting in they're leading the country under a pretense of a democracy, because a democracy is a forward way of thinking. It is a more modern way of thinking. To go back to dictatorship, you're looking at third world country rules, right? You're looking at literally going back in time, and um, maybe that's the wrong way to say this, but no, it is the wrong way to say this. But um, going back to dictatorship, you're I don't even know how to say this properly, but because I mean, going back into dictatorship, Canada never was a dictatorship, so that again is wrong. But um, if Canada develops a dictatorship like rule, then we're pretty much throwing out our way of life. What our military, our veterans have literally fought for years. Um, what our country was founded on. Like, to say that, for the federal government to say that, um, Canada has no, responsibility over what the federal courts decide, because the judges are a separate entity from the government. That's right. That's basically saying that, or from my understanding, it's saying that the Canadian government is giving over power to individuals, asking them to rule the country. Even though these legislations and laws are in place, these dictators, they do not have to follow the legislation put in by the leaders of our country. They can create their own rules. So our country is um, now being led by these dictators that the federal government has appointed without actually um, taking any responsibility for the decisions that these dictators are making. I hope I explain that so that everybody can understand. I will go over that more in the chapters, though, but it is very upsetting, and I am going to um, be going forward with these chapters, and it won't be until when I get into the later chapters into 2022. I believe it was October 2022 when I filed, um, maybe November, but basically you'll you'll see the briefs, and hopefully you'll understand more on what I'm talking about by many dictators within Canada. Thanks. Bye.